In Massachusetts, what really sort of sparked the fire was a particular offshore energy proposal that was put forward by industry. It's called Cape Wind, and it's a proposal for a large wind farm in Nantucket Sound, which is south of Cape Cod. And cleverly, it was proposed in a donut hole so that it was in federal waters but nestled within state waters. So it was a carefully chosen location, and it was a very polarizing proposal in that there were many people, very significant constituency, strongly in favor of it, for all the reasons that you can imagine, reducing carbon footprint, et cetera, creating jobs in Massachusetts. And there was an equally strong opposition to it from a number of people, including sort of wealthy landowners in whose view it might be built. So that energy proposal really was sort of the catalyst for Massachusetts undertaking something called comprehensive ocean management or integrated ocean management. The governor at the time convened, in response to this proposal, convened a Massachusetts Ocean Management Task Force. It was comprised of diverse stakeholders from industry, science, conservation, government, and they were tasked with coming up, recommending to the governor how to move ahead with ocean management, given the intensifying demands in Massachusetts. And that task force worked for about a year and a half, 2003, 2004. Again, their findings mirrored the findings of the national commissions that basically our ocean management system is not working so well. We ought to change it. Also importantly, this group of people came up with a preliminary set of principles or goals, not quite a vision, but principles and goals as to what might guide ocean management planning in the future. And they also identified key knowledge gaps in Massachusetts, things that we should know in order to proceed with ocean management planning more wisely. Two key outgrowths of that ocean management task force were, number one, the birth of the idea of this thing called a Massachusetts Ocean Partnership. The idea was that if Massachusetts was going to undertake this noble experiment, it would probably require new levels of collaboration among stakeholders, that sort of unprecedented levels of being able to problem solve together. And the idea was that this partnership could help capitalize on the momentum that was set in place by the Mass Ocean Management Task Force. The second key outgrowth of the task force was the Mass Oceans Act of 2008, but that actually comes later in the story. It didn't pass for a while, so I'll come back to that in a moment. And I will wait for the slide to change. There we go. Oops, I am so sorry. Can you go back? We have a snafu. Okay, I will describe to you. You can stay right there in the blue zone, and I will describe to you what that diagram would have shown. My apologies. This might be a 2007, 2003 glitch for PowerPoint. No worries. What I want to describe here is sort of the genesis of the partnership and how we came to be, and in particular, at this point, sort of who was involved. So in 2006, 2007, we convened a strategic planning process to ask the question of ourselves, could this thing called the Mass Ocean Partnership actually add value? Could it be of use to stakeholders? And not just be another organization out there trying to do something, because there's certainly no shortage of organizations in Massachusetts invested in the ocean in some way, shape, or form. So to answer that question, or to collectively deliberate on that question, we first engaged in a whole series of stakeholder interviews with a variety of folks from industry directly or from consultants to industry, from the conservation organization, science and academia, and again, several levels of government. And what we did is we asked them, first of all, what they thought about this prospect of integrated multi-use ocean management. Also, if this were to move forward, what would they, in their sector, expect from an ocean management plan? What would they need? How would they expect to participate, for example? And then we also asked them, what would motivate you to come and sit down and join this partnership and participate in ocean management? What would actually get you to the table? And we had a lot of variety of answers to that question. Some folks were very enthusiastic right from the start, whether they were sort of policy wonks and thought this was the greatest thing to do, or whatever reason, there was a lot of enthusiasm. There was a great swath of folks who were very tepid about it, and one of the things we heard most often was, come on, I'm already busy, I'm stretched, I fish for a living, I can't afford to come to meetings, or I'm busy putting together, proposals, or I sit on 3 boards, plus I'm, the head of this organization. I have a lot of demands on my time. Is this going to be worth it? What's the value added? How are you going to make participating in one more thing meaningful? And that was a very healthy skepticism. Then there were the folks who were highly skeptical, and the one that most sticks in my mind is a gentleman who was and still is the director of the Massachusetts Lobstermen's Association. And he said to me, really, I'm not so sure about this thing. I have a lot of doubts. And he said, but what I've come to learn is that if you're not at the table, you're probably on the menu. And so he agreed to participate. I'm happy to say that Bill Adler is now a very active member of our governing board. He's not just a partner, he's actually ponied up to be on the governance board and is actively engaged. So that's just an example of what motivates some people to participate in stakeholder forums. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, I'm going to speed up. The other thing is that what we heard a lot from industry is, come on, all I need to do is put my permits together, get my proposals in, I'll take my shots on that. And in fact, through conversations with a lot of industry folks, what we learned was that they too were very interested in engaging in this conversation, particularly because the prospect of integrated multi-use ocean management, it at least held the hope that it would provide greater certainty for where they could propose developments or installations or whatever that would be most likely to successfully get through a permitting process. Okay. Again, a note on inclusivity. When we actually formed the partnership, so as a result of strategic planning, we actually formed a partnership, and we set the bar for partnership very low. That is, people didn't have to pay money. They didn't have to say, we believe in this and that. All they had to do to have a seat at the table and be a partner is to say that we support or at least accept the concept of integrated multi-use ocean management, and it's going to happen in Massachusetts. And they had to agree that they would not check their interests at the door and drink the Kool-Aid and come in and sing Kumbaya. That they would actually, the whole point of the partnership is that they would bring their differing interests to the table so we could talk about them.